property that Jim was talking about, you'll register it as a nuisance, and
Yes.
then when you go out and take pictures of it, say it's occupied, say that somebody's living there.
Okay.
Then you would notify them and give them 14 days to clean it up. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
on that type, if somebody's living there, yes.
Yeah.
We would, well, basically, you have to go to the owner, then,
Right.
and then the owner goes if it's a rental property or whatever, but, yeah, that's right. We'll give them so much time if it's actually lived in and it's a nuisance, but I'll look at this one. If it looks like it's abandoned, I guess our best bet is to try to go after the property. I mean, we've got 3 of them that are gonna be coming up here in October to get, first we have to do the asbestos abatement, of course that costs, and then we have to, pay to have them taken down, hauled away, and lots filled back in. But
What do you do with the
that'll all
basements? I'm sorry.
that'll all be on that paperwork as to when we do all that. Because the 3 we've got now, we know which ones they are. We'll, as soon as we get title to this burnout house up here, that's what we're waiting on these other 2, because we want to do 3 of them, all 3 of them at the same time, is once we've got that, and goes in front of the judge on October 16th, and Luke thought we would get immediate possession of that day probably, and then once we've got the paperwork, then I can get the asbestos abatement people to come in and do their thing, and then we'll have Dick Pine come in and take them down. So it's that one, it's that blue house on Nelson, and then that little bitty house up on First Avenue north of you up there. That's kind of in between them other 2 houses.
Yeah, I see the roof on the porch fell off of that one.
Well, actually, somebody took it down.
Okay.
Believe it or not, the city made a little money there because he took it down and leaned it up against the house because he wanted to buy the porch post off it.
Oh, okay.
So we did sell the porch post, and might as well make what little money we can on them. And Steve and I are gonna, that one we probably won't look at, but that one on down on Nelson, we'll go take a look at it, see if there's anything, that could be salvaged and sold at the city auction. So we'll look at that, and if there is anything, we'll try to salvage that stuff. But you look at salvage stuff, like you think, well, here's a door we could salvage, a storm door, well, by the time you pay some of your city employees to take that off, you probably spent more money than you're ever going to get back out of it. So we kind of got to look at that stuff too.
Jim, on the same track, at one point I think we talked about we're getting several pieces of property and coming up with a procedure for disposing of those properties. Have we?
Yeah, we've got that in place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a procedure for if we are acquired a property that's worth salvaging. We have that in place. Otherwise, if it's not, we're going to demo the building and sell the open lot. Because we discussed the idea of, well, do we sell that as is and then require the new homeowner or property owner to take down the building, and we didn't want to get into that mess. We wanted to clean it off and sell it as a vacant lot.
If somebody wants to buy one of these vacant lots, who do they contact City Hall or?
We've had a number of adjacent property owners contact City Hall just for that specifically. But we'll be advertising in the paper, and when we do, I've mentioned to those people that we'll contact them and let them know, because we'll advertise it, we'll take sealed bids, and then the council has some discretion as far as usually you take the highest bid. If it's an adjacent property owner, we'd have a little leeway if that's not the highest bid, perhaps. But a lot of these they're lots that are unbuildable anyway, unless you want to build it to meet new flood code standards, and so it doesn't make it very feasible. So.
Yeah, 2 down along the river would have to be. Well, I'm not sure the one up on First Avenue may be high enough that it wouldn't have to be. But the problem with that lot is, I don't think it's big enough to be a buildable lot. There's not enough square footage there, so either the city keeps it or they, probably deal with the adjacent property owners is what I'm guessing. And this one that's up here on 4th, the burnout house, that's not going to be a buildable lot either, because there's just not enough square footage. Somewhere down the line they have divided property up, which back in the day must have been legal, and they're just, in today's standards, there's just not enough square footage there to be able to build on them.
Thank you, Doug. All right. Bob this evening? Jean? Arletta?
Doug answered everything I had.
Very good. Dick?
Nothing?
Barb?
I just wanted, included in your packets was, information regarding, bulk sales. We've been working with Amy at Office Town and, have implemented bulk ordering paper products at this point. It was reviewed at the last department head meeting, so the city will begin to order in bulk for happy paper, paper towels, and toilet paper. Each department, past practice has been that each department does their own ordering, and we won't change that. They'll continue to do their own ordering, but Office Town will give us the bulk price, throughout the city. So, just wanted to provide you an update with that. Mayor, Steve, Vicky, and I will be attending the League of Cities Conference this Wednesday through Friday in Sioux City. Capital projects, I distributed a report tonight. I've been reporting in the last couple council meetings that I've been working on trying to set up a better way to track and monitor our capital projects. So, just provided you this report just as a FYI tonight, but there was a document that looked like this, like Excel spreadsheet. So you can see what I've done is our expense account numbers are specific, as you can see from the budget report. Our expense line items start with the 001, which is the fund, and then the next set of numbers, four-digit numbers, is the department. And then you'll see a two-digit code, and that's what I've set up